most of your managers or bosses, right? They're usually men, right? And I feel like
Okay.
a lot of women be like, if I was the boss, like I'd treat people a lot better. I'd have this company running a lot better, right? But I feel like, when you have a female boss, it's like, damn, you're just as bad as my male boss. Like, I mean, like you're not really that much different.
Right. Honestly, sometimes worse.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do get the point where you're trying to make, right? Because like when men make money,
Yeah,
we take our family with us typically, right? Like
for sure.
you might catch a side chick on the way up, but you're gonna keep that wife.
Yeah. I think like there are qualities of like a man that is of that caliber, where he's assertive, he's dominant, he's some would say aggressive. These are all traits these are all masculine traits, right? And when a woman takes on that role of like becoming a higher earner, she tends to take on those more masculine traits as well. Don't quote me. This is another platform's theory is also, but I agree with it. I agree that women do take on that more masculine persona as the more money they make. I think the difference between men and women is that we're I want to say used to being in a masculine role or having some sort of like, but just being masculine as a whole, to where like we don't allow that power or the masculinity to like take control over us. Okay. Where like I feel like women tend to do that, where they become unpleasant, they become mean, they become like, people will say bitchy, like, and in some instances it's good and in some instances it's bad. I think it's definitely needed in the workforce, I think, because one, I feel like I'm not even gonna say this, women feel like that being that the fact that they are a woman, that they have a harder fight than men do when it comes to like, in the workforce, because their voice is
but I think
a
that's
lot
been
smaller.
like actually proven though, right? Like
not necessarily, no.
I think the pay gap kind of proves that. You don't think so?
Not necessarily, no.
How so?
Because there's no real pay gap. The pay gap isn't real, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I was gonna say that women think that their voice is less than men, and so they kind of have to come off a little bit more aggressive and a little bit stronger than men. And I think they compensate that in a negative way to kind of make it seem like, okay, like, I'm on par with them, when in turns they tend to be way more aggressive, way more dominant, way more assertive, and it become way more abrasive in certain in decision making. To wrap it up, I think that they also trickle that attitude into relationships as well. Like whenever they make more money, they don't have that filter, where it's like, okay, I'm at work and now it's time for me to be at home. And so they end up bringing that abrasiveness, that assertiveness, that dominance into the relationship,
into the
home. And then it creates friction after some time in their relationship, and a lot of women have the narrative that like men are insecure when a woman makes more than them. And I think there are some men that do become insecure by women making more than them. But I think the large percentage of women is that women become shitty people when they make more money than their man. Like they tend to talk down on their man. They lack respect to their man. They tend to be more argumentative, and nobody wants to deal with that. And a man will leave, and instead of them, women do a lot of projection rather than reflection, so they'll project the fact that he's being insecure and he's not a real man and he wasn't on his game and he's not boss enough. But then instead of reflection in terms of what am I doing wrong? What did I do to cause him to leave? And I think that that's the reason why, when women make more than their men, the relationship tends to fail after some point.